Welcome back to Deep in the Heart of Texas 4-H, the official Texas 4-H podcast. I'm Callie, and it's National 4-H Week. So happy National 4-H Week, everyone. I am here with my awesome co-host, Ella Porter. She's on Texas 4-H Council this year. How's it going, Ella?
I am doing great. It's a pretty good day. About to have an exciting National 4-H week.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, tell us who you are.
So, as Miss Klein said, I am Ella Porter. I am an at-large delegate on Texas 4-H Council this year. So honored to be a part of this amazing team. I've been in 4-H for 10 years. I show chickens, do some public speaking, STEM. I dabble in a little bit of everything, but I'm super excited to be here today.
And we are so excited to have you, Ella. And you have secured quite an exciting guest for us for National 4-H Week episode. So tell us who we have and bring him into the conversation.
Absolutely. So we are so honored and so excited to have with us Dr. Chris Boleman. Dr. Boleman is a 4-H alum and was the director of Texas 4-H programs from 2008 to 2017. And he currently serves as the CEO of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So we are so happy to have you, Dr. Boleman. How's it going?
It is going very well. I always like National 4-H Week. My birthday normally falls during the week, so which makes it a great week all the way around. But happy
Awesome.
National 4-H Week to everybody.
Well, happy either early or late birthday, depending on where that is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks again for making some time to be on with us today. We're excited to pick your brain, but before we get there, we always just like to check in with each other on this podcast. So, what have y'all had going on today?
Today's been a pretty busy day, actually. All days are busy in this job, I guess, is the way I would put it. It's interesting. People always ask me, what do you do outside of March? And the answer is you plan for the next February and March. And so we are definitely knee deep into planning the 2026 show. Our fiscal year starts September 1. So we're about a month into this fiscal year. And so we're working on everything, get everything scheduled. Obviously, working tirelessly with our 36,000 volunteers. I always say the Tuesday after Labor Day is big around here because meetings really pick up now that summer is quote over. So lots of action, lots of volunteers in the building, and we're just getting focused for the 2026 show.
Awesome. Awesome. What about you, Ella?
I had a couple college classes today, so not too stressful. Had an exam this morning. Hope it went well. But tonight we are gonna just do some chickens. We're gonna try and fill them, select them, and hopefully the show will go well.
Ella, I haven't known you for that long, but for the amount of time I have known you, the quote you just said of "I'm going to do some chickens," that pretty much sums it up for me with you. You always are doing something with chickens. So,
I feel like that's about accurate. Kind of in a connection with Dr. Bowman, I've shown at the Houston Rodeo for the past 9 years. Every single one of them, I've shown chickens. Done a couple cattle projects here and there, and this year I'm hoping to round out my 4-H career with chickens again. So
yeah.
I'm
And, you,
excited.
and you've had a lot of success here at our show with your chickens, right? You've had a good
Yes,
run.
sir. We absolutely have. My sisters and I have been so blessed to make the auction several times. I started out in third grade, just got 25 chickens, somehow made the auction that year, and I've just had so much fun with it ever since. And last year we were so blessed I got reserve grain champion, so that just made it even so much sweeter.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
That's awesome. We're glad to
Super.
hear that.
hmm
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
My day's the most boring out of all three, I think. Well, I say that. It is National 4-H Week, so I've been doing a lot of sharing Go Green Day posts and a lot of exciting things for National 4-H Week today. So it's been a fun day. So
Yeah,
Ella,
absolutely.
I'm gonna turn it over to you now. Like I said, we're excited to pick Dr. Bowman's brain. The theme for National 4-H Week this year is Beyond Ready, as y'all know. And so we are really trying to emphasize this year in 4-H how it does develop youth into adults who are beyond ready for work and life. And so I'm excited to hear what we get into today.
Absolutely. So I'll start us off. So, Dr. Bowman, tell us about your experience in 4-H growing up and then your career prior to being at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Like, what did you do? How long were you a member?
Yeah, man.
Love to
Yeah,
know
that's a
more.
good kickoff question to get us going here. So I grew up in Brazos County, right there in Bryan College Station, a graduate of Bryan High School, but a 4-H member of Brazos County for 10 years. And so, like you, grew up showing. We showed cattle and we showed pigs primarily. And so my dad was a beef cow specialist, so we always had cattle around. My grandfather, my mom's dad, was a swine specialist, so we always showed barrows as well. And so, yeah, did that really all the way growing up, lived at the barn, come home from school, go directly there, come in late for dinner. And if it was during peak show time, you'd go back out. But a lot of times, come in for dinner, do your homework, get ready for the next day, and start our mornings each morning out there too. So much like many 4-Hers that show livestock projects, no question that the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo was the pinnacle one for us. It was the closest one to home, and it seemed like every spring, whenever we bought steers for the next year, every one of them was the intent to go to Houston. And every pig when we bought those in the fall. And so so anyway, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo was always a big piece of us growing up. But throughout my 4-H career, was very active in livestock showing, but also we were super intense livestock judges. Man, we judged a lot, me and my brothers. And so I have a twin brother, Craig, who owns a marketing company now, but we were on the national champion judging team in 1990 at Louisville. And so that was pretty awesome. I always like to say I did win overall, so I beat him. But
Got to
won
throw
both
that in
state,
there.
both won state and national that year. So grew up in 4-H. Look, man, I will say this about being in 4-H. You don't know how good you got it till you don't have it anymore. And so I say that because I can't tell you the number of people that know something about leadership and management that have told me it's not fair to be compared to a 4-Her that was active in judging or livestock or just 4-H meetings and leadership development because we're just so far ahead in terms of understanding meetings and understanding how to get along with people and those life skills that, of course, 4-H teaches us. And the older I get, the more I see it. And I see it in you young people from Ella, all the young people that are involved in 4-H now and FFA for that matter, because they're both great organizations. But yeah, man, there's no question. There's no way in the world I'm sitting in this position without the foundation of being 4-H and what my parents instilled in me, what my grandparents did too, because really it was all about making the best better.
Yes, sir. That's incredible. And that's actually a great segue into my next question. What is the most valuable thing that you learned when you were in 4-H, and how has that helped you in your career now?
It's definitely about it, a lot of it is experiential learning. The fact that we get to be a part of so many activities around other people. And so because of that, you're always on, I guess is the way I would say it. You're always trying to learn from each other. I like to say the knowledge isn't in front of the room, it's around and within the room. And so I think Forge does a good job of making us appreciate each other and listening and learning from each other. I don't think there's any question about that. And so all those leadership skills of listening and being respectful and being trustworthy and all of that is just for me the microcosm of the program. It's hard to narrow it down to like one leadership trait. It's a little bit of all.
Mhm.
And I think it just sets the tone. I was talking to a friend the other day. I mean, those of us that are involved in 4-H, we've been running meetings or been a part of meetings. We were 8 years old.
Mhm.
How many people really are in that?
Absolutely.
And not just a meeting, but a structured meeting, a meeting that's about parliamentary procedure and even the pre-meeting of planning the meeting. There's a joke around here that you never have a meeting with me without an agenda. And that's the truth because that's just the way I operate. I want to know what's going on. I want to see it in front of me. And I think a lot of that does go back to being a part of the 4-H program. And so being around so many great leaders, I mean, there's no substitution for that. From a club manager to a county agent to a state 4-H specialist or a district 4-H specialist to all points in between. We're around good people. That's what making the best better is all about. It's about being our best, but always willing to be better and the willingness to get better each and every day, no matter what tomorrow may bring. I think that's a little bit in the DNA of what 4-H is all about. So to narrow it down to one thing is hard for me to do, but to just say that it's about the structure and the environment that it puts you in, I think is what makes you successful over time.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. You mentioned a little bit about kind of maybe a hint of what you do, just meetings, helping manage volunteers. So tell us a little bit more about your job and what you do for the Houston Livestock Show.
Sure. I'm the president and CEO, and came into the position during COVID, which were very difficult times, no question about
Mhm.
it. But a lot of what my job is as the CEO is it's kind of twofold. One is I lead 150 full-time staff that work for this organization year round, and so my job is to make sure that we are moving in the right direction with staff. And just like any other organization, that includes finances and marketing and IT
Mhm.
and mission oriented things like actually putting on a show and donor relations. And so it's not me, it's about making sure that we have the people around the organization to be successful. And a lot of our day to day of the 150 staff is working collectively with 36,000 volunteers that are on 109 committees. So the first part for me is managing and leading the staff. And then secondly, although they're equally as important, is how I partner. And it truly is a partnership. It is a collaborative leadership model with our chairman of the board and our executive committee of really looking at the big picture and the long-term vision of our show. This will be our 94th anniversary. We're coming up on 100 years. A lot of my work right now has to do with our lease as a tenant at NRG Park, which is county owned. Our lease is up in 2032. So we're looking towards the long term, like what is our future? And so part of being a great leader is really having a vision and a passion for the vision that's connected to the mission. So really that's how I get up and approach each day. It's about being a part of the mission of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, which I'm highly connected to based on my history and how much I believe in what we do from an agricultural point of view, from an education point of view. Uh, and then, of course, there's a piece of this is such a strong brand. It's very important for the community from an entertainment aspect, and then from a Western heritage point of view. And so, as a part of all that, a lot of times I get tasked to speak on behalf of the show, to be front and center, to talk about our show, and so that's a big piece of being the CEO too. But I try to give it back. We develop leaders. We have leadership programs. I mean, it's just like any other business that's out there in terms of strategy, finance, long term, IT, mission, marketing. The same thing you would see in HR, just about any organization.
Okay,
Yes,
correct me
sir.
if I'm wrong. Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is the largest in the world, right?
Yes, and so by largest, it's the largest livestock show and rodeo in the world. To be frank, and this kind of leads to a lot of the stuff that I think about every day. We have great partnerships with other livestock show and rodeos. It's not for us. It's not about being the biggest. We really concentrate on seeing if we can be the best, which is always a bit more qualitative. But that's what we get up and do. I mean, it's 20 days, so that's obviously a long time for a show. And so we want to make sure that we're giving the best experience possible for our clientele, for the audience that comes to visit. This past year, we had 2.7 million people attend our show, which is the highest ever.
Wow.
But we also, I always worry when you see really high numbers. How's that experience for them? Are they having a good
Mhm.
time here? We do a ton of assessments and evaluations to determine the effectiveness of what we do for our exhibitors, for our sponsors, for our donors, for the general public. It's all of that is being measured. And so I always like to say we're not just competing with other rodeos. Matter of fact, I don't think we are, because most of ours are spaced out. We're at different times. Right now, our
Right.
friends are going strong at the State Fair of Texas, so we want to
Yeah.
wish them the best. But a lot of times, what we're competing against here at the rodeo is really for people's time. Is it worth the time for me to leave my house and go to this event, or to go to this event over another event? And why would they? And so we work year round tirelessly trying to create an experience that people will come and have a good time, but also learn about agriculture and look at what we do to support education.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I asked that question not in necessarily regard to any other show. We love
Yeah.
them all too, but just to put into perspective, 36,000 volunteers, right? So
Correct.
36,000 volunteers for just the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. We have around 30,000 volunteers for the 4-H program year round in 254 counties. So that amount of volunteers for one event is pretty big.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. That's it. No, you're exactly right, Callie. And it's interesting because I actually make that comparison all the time. Is when I was director of 4-H program, there was a little over 30,000, and here there's over 30,000. And so there's some unique comparisons you can make. Obviously, people are willing to give their time and talents to help with whatever organization it is. Here, it's a bit more specific. Even though we are year round, we have activities year round. We have a number of events. Matter of fact, I think our archery competition is next weekend, and so we do events year round. But it does all typically lead up to March, and so versus 4-H that there's 254 counties and volunteers are doing different things during different times of the year, depending on when the county show is, or record book judging, or summer camp, or whatever. And so, but it's still about working with people, and that's what's consistent about the work that I've done over my career. Is it truly is about relationships, no matter what the organization is. They are both very, very strong people businesses. That's really what they are.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely. And I love that y'all, I guess, both bring up 4-H volunteers and Houston Rodeo volunteers. My dad is actually kind of double dipping in both. He's on the gatekeepers committee and also serves as a club leader for us, and then also our county livestock judging coordinator. So he thoroughly enjoys both of them. And I know several other of my 4-H parents, if you will, who are also serving as volunteers. So it's a
Hey,
great
Ella,
environment for both.
what county are you from, Ella?
I'm from Montgomery County.
Okay, so Montgomery County. Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. A lot of people think our volunteers are, all from Harris County, and Montgomery County is obviously a neighboring county. But man, we have volunteers from all across the state. They really do come from all over. Heck, they come from other states across the nation. They come from other countries. They believe so passionate in what we do. They give their time and talents here during March primarily, but again also during some other times. So it's always interesting to hear that.
Yes, sir. Right. So my next question for you, you mentioned kind of in your previous response, just the mission and vision of the Houston Livestock Show. You mentioned Western heritage, you mentioned entertainment and ag education. So what is something that you do outside of the rodeo to live out the rodeo's mission?
Well, when you're president and CEO, there really is no outside of the rodeo for me. I mean, I'm always the president and CEO of the rodeo, but a lot of what I do, uh, I try to connect with what we're doing here. And so, and I got to answer this in two different ways. One is I do try to get away, right? You don't want to just be 24/7, but in terms of the job, I do. So for fun, my wife and I, we like to travel and read and do all kinds of things like that.
Mhm.
And we like to get to the ranch in Brazos County. But in terms of what I do for the show outside of the show, I'm always studying what other organizations are doing. I'm always studying what other leaders are doing. I'm always reading on that. Matter of fact, our staff, they'll get a message from me every Monday that connects somehow with a leadership philosophy that may not be with our show, but I try to connect it with what we're doing here. And so I'm fascinated by that. I really am fascinated with how other organizations succeed. I was just talking to the president and CEO of the San Antonio Stock Show, my good friend Cody Davenport, just Friday, because we're facing some similar things. And while they're different based on the communities we're in, we can each learn from each other. And so outside of rodeo, though, it's the same. I mean, I'm looking and studying about how do we create our product and make it better. I'm always studying what others are doing. I'm studying what Disney's doing. I'm studying what's happening with movie theaters right now. I mean, I'm studying to see what people are spending their time and resources on. And obviously, we're trying to figure out where our phones fit in to whatever's happening out here. And so, as much as we want to get people away from screen time, you can also use it to your benefit from a technology point of view. Always, I go to events, it drives my wife crazy because I'll time how long it takes me to get out of the parking lot because I want to compare it to how long it takes out to get in the parking lot here. And so I don't know if that answers it, Ella, but there are certainly things I do separately. Don't get me wrong. I try to get away. But at the same time, what I do outside to help the rodeo is really a lot of self-development.
Yes, sir. That's awesome. So going back to your time as the director of Texas 4-H, what was the most impactful thing about your time serving in that role?
Oh man, that's tough. Yeah. So, man, that's a good one. So I was very I was pretty young when I moved in that position. As I look back, and certainly like the I was so excited and so enamored by what I learned. I mean, I grew up in 4-H. I grew up in agri-life. I was a county extension agent. I worked with the 4-H program. Was a specialist there on campus. But when you really see the diversity of programs offered and what the kids are interested in, and the fact that we try to create that experience for them, that was always something that resonated with me. I didn't, and I think most of the folks that are around that worked with me then would probably tell you, I never wanted to be comfortable with what we were offering. I wanted us to continue to stretch and think about where kids are. I think about Dr. Dodd and starting the food challenge and making it a competitive event that could be offered statewide. And I remember people going, well, then let's get rid of the food show. And my point was, well, that's a different experience. There's a food show experience, just like you can show goats, but you can also judge them. Those are two different experiences. And so, sometimes maybe that makes it difficult because you're adding experiences. But at the same time, that was our jobs. As a 4-H state leader, I used to use the term opportunity architects. I really felt like our job was to be an opportunity architect. And how do we provide opportunities to young people? How are we architecting those experiences? Shooting sports, archery. How can we grow? Ag robotics started during some of that time. And that's not for me to take credit. I'm just saying we were always looking at what was successful out there that kids were interested in, and then not being afraid to fail. I remember we started a 4-H golf program, which we tied to nutrition and we tied to turf management and a little bit of science and geometry. And frankly, it didn't stick, but I'm glad we tried it. And maybe it should come back. Maybe it just wasn't ripe yet. Maybe we just weren't ready. But growing those experiences and working with Junior Master Gardener to put it in front of more students in urban areas, just
Mhm.
trying to continue to push the envelope to reach kids where they are with projects that are of interest to them. I think we're all certainly, I think, things that I was passionate about, and hopefully we were. Even back when Roundup, we had activities for non-qualifiers. We're trying to create an experience for people to come to, and I think that's what people want. They want experiences and they want uniqueness and things they can participate in.
Absolutely. And you mentioned, being an opportunity architect. I definitely think that you've still continue doing that for everyone listening. Um, the Houston Livestock Show Rodeo, Dr. Boleman have been great partners of the Norman Borlaug Youth and Agriculture Program, which is a collaborative effort with Texas Youth Livestock and Ag, Dr. Zanolini, and Harris County schools to put youth in a room together to solve problems facing our state. And Houston Livestock Show has been a great sponsor and a great partner for us throughout this program. And so very grateful for them in that
Yeah, you
in
bet.
that
That's
instance.
another fantastic example of looking at something that's consistent within 4-H, like promotion of agriculture and livestock showing, but putting it in with a new audience and a different twist. Because a
Mhm.
lot of it really is. It's your ability as a leader to adapt. And we know that in some communities, young people they don't have a barn in their backyard, so they can't participate in a project like another child can in rural Texas. But it's still about providing an experience for them. And so you have to be able to adapt. This isn't something that everybody can fit in. It's about creating opportunities for somebody, and there's a lot more somebodies out there that could experience it. We started since I've been at the livestock show before I became CEO, the industrial craft competition, which is in schools where there isn't a 4-H or FFA program, and those guys were working. They work on projects that are really about creating something to spec, whether it be welding or pipe fitting, whatever the case may be. They have to design
Yes.
the whole project. And then our goal for those students is for them to be able to go directly into the workforce afterwards. So it's a little different concept than what we see with others, but we're exposing the show to new students, and it's been highly, highly successful.
That's cool. It's
I've
really
seen
cool.
those projects every year. They're just so impressive.
It's crazy. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, everybody has talents and I know what mine aren't. And
Yeah.
it's typical. I tried welding once, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. It's not for today.
Yeah, so my next question for you is what is your favorite thing and the hardest thing about your role with the livestock show?
The favorite thing is just what we do. I mean, I just, I love it. You know, part of it was probably being a product of it and really understanding, um, the amount of work of all these volunteers and you know partnering with our staff and one of my favorite times of the year is actually before a show ever starts. It's usually kind of the 1st of February, first week or so of February, when I'm in the hallway after 5 and you just feel the energy because the whole second floor is just packed full of meetings and everybody
Mhm.
is anticipating what's coming. And so there's just so much energy and enthusiasm. And so just seeing what happens every year. I love our new scholarship picnic that we started actually post COVID because it allowed the whole family to come and meet with our donors. And, you know, our chairman of the board calls that payday. And it's so true. I mean, it's when you see all that work and what everybody's done collectively, how it makes a difference. So definitely, you know, that's the best part. I mean, the hardest part is just dealing with something in the moment that you just have to fight through. That, you know, we have a lot of contingency plans around here, and sometimes things don't go as they're supposed to, and so you have to change, and it's really difficult a lot during show. I tell friends all the time if there's if there's a football game for at a college football campus and something doesn't go wrong on that Saturday, whether it be food and beverage or security, whatever the case may be, they may have a week, they maybe have 2 weeks to fix it before the next game. Here at the rodeo, we don't. We have to do it again the next night. We'll do it for the next 19 nights. And so that's the hardest part is just making sure that, and that's why we plan all year because we plan for all types of things in case something doesn't go like it's supposed to. We spend a lot of time doing that. But even when it happens, it's stressful because you're making a decision. The good news is you're not making it in a vacuum because we have a great team around us. And but you've got to ship and you've got to make changes in the moment. And so it's actually what gets my adrenaline going. But at the same time, it's a challenge. I mean, it's hard, and that's what you know. Leadership's easy when it's easy. It's hard when it's hard. And you know, everybody wants the position, but are you willing to do the responsibility? Are you willing to take the action? Is what I always like to say. And sometimes some actions are just difficult. They're just hard.
I mean, I know with COVID that I don't know if you were CEO whenever 2020 first started, but I know it was definitely hard on every single person involved.
It was very difficult. I was not the CEO the year we shut down. I became CEO about a month after that. But the next year, when we had the private show,
Mhm.
you know we had about 17 different possible scenarios to lead us through, and that we were working together with our volunteers to try to do at the very. I mean, what we wanted to do, no matter what, is give the exhibitors a chance, which we did. And we spread out everything over 20 days, and it was I don't ever want to do it again, but we did what we needed to do to meet the mission. And so it's one of those things when I'm old and gray, yeah, I'm proud of what we pulled off that year for our exhibitors, 100%, and our scholarship recipients, because we still made our educational commitment, which is pretty awesome and really tells the story about the depth and the history of this show. People that came well before any of us that set us on that path to be successful, even during the hard times.
Absolutely. And speaking as an exhibitor who did show at um well, two of them because I showed a heifer that year as well as my chickens. We were just so grateful that y'all did put it on, and it was a great experience. It was definitely different, but still just so thankful that we were able to put all of our hard work to put it towards its purpose.
That's right.
So my next question for you is just kind of a broad one. What is your main motivation for the work you do?
I think it really is about everybody. Everybody's a strong word, but seeing the reflection of how this show reflects on each individual because it does. If you're a newcomer and you've come here for the first time, or you've been showing here for 10 years, or you just came because you wanted to see a rodeo in a stadium and one entertainer. It's about what motivates me is about making sure that we're checking whatever their box is. And so for a volunteer, it's about making sure that that experience is worth their time, because they can go volunteer anywhere. They can go do anything they want, and they choose to volunteer here. For staff, it's the same. It's about valuing them, and so it's about finding the win for everybody. Now, there's no way to find a win for everybody. That's one thing I've learned in life too. Not everybody's going to be happy, but if you work tirelessly to make sure you're creating the right environment for success, then overall people will feel good about it. And this show has a lot of feel goods. And I don't have all the answers. I never will. The older I got, the quicker I figured that out. That it's about putting the right people around you that can help all of us be successful. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy people enjoying what they do, regardless of what that experience is, and creating that environment for them to feel proud and successful with what they're doing.
Absolutely. So we've talked a lot about exhibitors, the industrial craft, maybe some school art, but how can students be involved or volunteer at the rodeo?
Yeah, so one, you can participate in the show, as you just mentioned, in a number of ways, and just like I mentioned earlier, you don't have to show an animal to be able to participate here. We have ag science fair, we have ag robotics, we have food challenge, we have ag ID. We've got a lot of things where you don't have to quote have a project. Not everybody's in a position to do that, and we recognize that and understand that, and we want to do more. Like I said, we've added archery in the last 4 or 5 years, and in addition to our shooting sports. And so all of that, there's a number of events and activities you can do. But secondly, we do have a junior rodeo committee. I believe the ages of that are 17 to 20. And so a lot of kids that get in high school, it's a really good opportunity for them. And we set that committee up for kids to come on and start to experience what it means to be a volunteer here. So they will get to shadow maybe breeders, greeters out at 288, or the livestock committee, because you're familiar with those guys, or the judging contest committee, or gatekeepers, whatever it is, because we want them to, one, learn what committees that are of interest, and secondly, which ones that's not what I thought it was. And so I don't want to do that. And so that's been a huge area for us. We have a lot of 4-H and FFA kids in the community that will be a part of that particular committee, really just to get their foot in the door and learn a little bit more about what we do. So that's the best, most direct answer, minus, exhibiting just about anything you want. So.
Absolutely. And y'all do have several options for exhibiting beyond just the typical livestock. Like I've heard tabby, maybe some llamas and alpacas.
Rabbits, llamas, alpacas. That's right. Yeah. And so we do, because look, it's like I said earlier. I mean, where opportunities are there for young people, we can't do everything, but we want to be able to provide experiences as best we can.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So my last question for you today is, what advice would you give to a current 4-H member who looks up to you?
Just keep on keeping on, man. I said the other night to a group of folks on campus at A&M, I talked to a group of students. The quicker you learn, the real competition is actually within yourself. The quicker and more successful you will be. I think at times we so much think about wins and losses. And trust me, I'm super competitive in nature. I'm just a competitive guy. But the real competition really does come within, and how you want to better yourself, it really is up to you. And so, I'm an avid runner. That's one of the things I do to get away. And every morning I ask myself, is this the day? And every morning I'm out the door and I'm running again, because it helps me mentally. And that is a competition within myself. And so if you can attack each day to compete with yourself and be the very best that you can be, then I promise you success will follow. And so, because there's somebody out there that's willing to do the effort, willing to do the work, spend an extra hour at the barn, spend an extra hour doing research for the Beef Quiz Bowl, or reading some new publication. Somebody's out there doing that. And you have to ask yourself, it's not about being better than them. It's about how do you better yourself, so that when you get there, you're really competing with yourself. And I can't say that strongly enough.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for all your wisdom that you share with us today, and just your insights. Truly inspiring for me as a 4-H member, and hopefully as a future Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo volunteer.
Love
So,
it. Yes, we will sign you up. Ella, we need you for sure. So no, thank y'all. Happy National 4-H Week. Thanks to all the county agents out there, all the 4-H specialists, all the specialists out there. Everybody in that organization gives to that youth organization. It's the best of the best. 4-H is so many of us grew up on it. So thanks to them. Thanks to the club managers, the 30,000 volunteers. We look forward to seeing y'all in late February, early March. We promise to have the doors open and be ready to welcome you.
Awesome. We can't wait. Thanks, Ella and Dr. Boleman, for that just bit of wisdom there. More than a bit. That was really awesome to hear and just take in. I just sat here and took it all in. So,
Awesome.
yeah, and like Dr. Boleman said, happy National 4-H Week to everyone. Just a couple of reminders. Today is Go Green Day. So, if you didn't wear green this morning, go home and change, or wear it tomorrow and convince all your friends that they were wrong and you were right, that it's actually Tuesday. So, at least wear green one day this week. Make it work. Post about it, tag us on social media, talk about, how 4-H has made you beyond ready with someone in your conversation this week, or participate in One Day 4-H this Saturday if you are a current 4-H member. So lots of ways to get involved in National 4-H Week. And another reminder, we have Spark coming up in November. So join us. Ella says it's going to be a great time at our Light Up Luau for all of those junior and intermediate age 4-H members. So join us at the 4-H Center in November, right, Ella?
oh yeah, it's going to be a great time. I'm super excited.
And that's all we have for y'all today. Thank you again, Ella and Dr. Bowman, for being on.
Cool.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
y'all. Have a
Thank
great
y'all
week.
so much. Thank you, Dr. Bowman.
You bet.
We'll see y'all next time.